Why do coaches struggle with selling? In this video, we're going to dive into the psychology around this whole sales dynamic and why once someone is in that coaching pocket with you, you're comfortable. It's easy for you to sell, but then when they're outside of it, it's this pressure that you feel, especially when you get down to the price, when you get down to here's how much I cost. How do you overcome that challenge, that pressure that you put on yourself? How do you sell naturally, effectively, authentically without agenda so the person isn't weirded out by you? And why does this whole thing happen in the first place? In this video, we're going to tackle one of the biggest objections and fears that I hear time and time again from coaches with trying to get better and more confident with selling. So the first thing we're going to do is dive into why this happens in the first place. Because God forbid, man, I remember I was so scared making my first offer to my first client. I had heart palpitations. I swear to you, my wrists were shaking. I was in this frenzy. Like I was so scared and so timid and so out of my mind, hoping just to get it over with. Like I remember going skydiving years ago, and I went skydiving in Santa Barbara, and we're getting loaded into the airplane. And I remember all the fear and terror was right there, and it reached this boiling point right before we jumped out of the plane, right before we fell out into the air. And it reached this almost like fever pitch. And then finally, as soon as we jumped off the airplane, and funny enough, I was first. So my tandem instructor and we were the first ones off the plane. Man, and then my friends were in the back kind of watching me like, all right, dude, bye, later. But as soon as I was off that plane, I was good. But I remember this weird adrenaline rush is like part of me wanted to be there, wanted to go through it, wanted the exhilaration and the adventure. But then part of me also just wanted it to be done as fast as humanly fucking possible. And maybe you feel that way a little bit about sales. I did. That's the emotional roller coaster that I went through. It's kind of like, let's just get through this really hard part so that I can get to the things that I love doing, like actually coaching the person. So first of all, why does this show up? Like, why do we feel so much pressure? Okay, well, think about it like this. When you're coaching people, the way that you've been trained or certified, or the way that you at least want to work with people, or you've been working with people, I'm assuming you make it all about them, right? In other words, are you coming in and going, here's what you need to do? Like traditionally as a coach, no, right? It's not about you. It's not about your expertise necessarily, although I would certainly argue it is, and we'll talk about that in other videos. But most of the time as coaches, you're trained to make it all about the other person, right? It's all about empowering that person. It's all about having them tap into their greatness. It's all about them seeing through their lens of reality what is best for them. It's not about, hey, let me swing the spotlight onto me. And you can even imagine, you can think of it this way, like there's a spotlight on stage, right? And so you can swing that spotlight and you can swing it over to talk to the other person. And you can shine that light directly on them. And that's likely when you're most comfortable, right? When that spotlight is just drilled right down onto them. It's all about that person and you're doing your thing, asking questions, going deeper, wanton curiosity. Amazing, right? Or you can have the spotlight swung on what I call like a shared common ground between you, like a context, like how the coaching will work, how the dynamic will work with how you will support them. Or you can have that spotlight swing over to you. Now, which one are you most comfortable with? Which one are you least comfortable with? If you had to rank them in order. All right, for me, for the longest time, when the spotlight came to me, that's when I was least comfortable. And my dynamic growing up was I never felt comfortable being the leader. In certain areas of my life, like basketball, video games, acting, that's where I felt like I had a natural skill set. And also weirdly as a speaker, I felt like, okay, now that the audience is kind of seeing me on stage, I am the leader. That's when I've always felt most confident. And that's why I could assert myself as a leader. But typically when I was hanging out with friends, we were going out and networking early in my career, or when I was just out in social environments, I didn't take it upon myself. Like my brain never told me, hey, Byron, you're the leader right now. So people are going to follow your lead. So go out and chart out what you want to happen and start leading people around. That's not how my brain was wired. And I had a lot of negative reinforcement growing up with other people that had that authority status, people that were older than me, stronger than me, bigger than me, more popular than me, where I learned through conditioning over time, the more I kind of push back, the more I get put back in my place. And so I always felt it's not safe for me to be the leader. And maybe you can relate to this. And ironically, or maybe not so ironically, I actually believe that's a big part of why I became a coach in the first place. It's because when you're coaching, it's not about you and your leadership. It's about empowering the other persons, right? So we get to duck this whole psychological be the leader thing. Because when you're the leader, you find that you're very comfortable with the spotlight on you. You're very comfortable with the spotlight on you. And you probably know a lot of people, or at least know of a lot of people, that when the spotlight is on them, they hog it. They make it all about themselves in a very egotistical way. And so think about this. Think about what happens in a sales conversation, right? Yes, the person is maybe on a discovery call with you, and you're asking these deep questions, and you're really helping them be a mirror, and you're showing them all these things. But at the end of the day, the elephant in the room is, are you going to be the person to lead me? Are you going to lead me? And when you feel uncomfortable with that spotlight swinging back to you, that's where you're not sure how to lead the conversation, how to confidently express yourself in the conversation, and you're not sure how to maintain that dynamic of, okay, I'm your coach. You are hiring me. We're going to create something amazing together. And that's where you start to wobble a little bit. And you want to get that spotlight off you as fast as possible. A large reason for this is whether or not you sense, or it might not even be whether or not you perceive it. It might even be just the other person is doing it consciously or unconsciously. But whether or not you perceive you are being qualified. That is why historically, if someone puts you on the spot and they're like, hey, what do you do? Like, tell me, like, what do you do? And you're in that like 20-second elevator pitch mode. And I always hated that term. My elevator pitch or whatever, the TV commercial, whatever bullshit name they give it, it always changed from person to person. I never felt like I found my zone. Like I had my rhythm that I could stick to. It always just make something up different every time. Like, I don't know. Let's try this metaphor. I'm like a personal trainer, but for your whole life. Oh, okay. Is that like a therapist? No, not that at all. Okay, let me try something else. I'm like the person that will hold you accountable to better habits. Okay, like what does that mean? And no matter what I came up with, it never was it. And I realized the reason nothing you say feels right is because in that example, when you're networking and someone puts you on the spot, what do? You are actually being qualified. Now, some people have different energies with this, and some people might put you on the spot, and you can immediately sense this condescending energy. Like, okay, what do you do? And that's different from like an actual curiosity. Like, notice how much more on the spot you feel right now. Think about what you do for people. Think about now, if I ask you, okay, so what do you do? Like, how do you actually help people? What's the ROI on that? If I hire you, what do I get out of that? Right? Think about how you start to feel this, like, it's like your neck starts to seize up. It's like, ah. And then what I usually do, if I'm on the other end of that, is I start talking faster. I start trying to explain, and immediately I feel like I'm backpedaling. Like, whoa. Okay? You got to watch out for this. And so when you feel like you're being qualified, your strength, your confidence, and your capacity to actually make it all about them goes away. Because now suddenly it's all about you, and you're self-conscious. And as you're self-conscious, now the dynamic is, instead of keeping that spotlight on that person, it's all about you. And it's all about the dog and pony show now. And it's all about how good of a dance can you do so that the person likes you. You like the way I dance? All right. So you need to learn how to flip the script in these moments. You need to learn how to turn it around so that you're not qualifying yourself to that person. You need to understand how to get out of that qualification. You need to start qualifying them. See, the biggest problem that I see is if you truly are open to working with a wide variety of people, then no one ever has to qualify themselves to you. And no one ever has to look at your value your boundaries, your sense of respect. And everyone just kind of sees someone that, okay, well, you seem to have an infinite amount of time and resources and energy that I can just utilize. So sure, I'll benefit from a good hour-long conversation with you, or some people do like 2-hour discovery calls. I'll just sit and talk your head off. I have no intention of hiring you. And you've also communicated to me that there's nothing here that I really feel like, oh gosh, I don't want to waste this guy's time. I don't want to waste her time. I need to treat them with respect. In fact, it's the opposite. It's like if you're never challenging me, if I never feel like that I also have to earn the opportunity to work with you, then I'm not going to take you as seriously. And that's why selling can be so awkward and so hard. So the solution for this is both really simple, but also something that I know is going to stretch you. But it's in the conversation to not just allow that person to qualify you. It's to not worry about, even when they ask a question like that, the perfect response. It's to see it as, okay, this person's qualifying me. So instead of me answering and then kind of going with that, what I'm going to do is I might start to answer it, or I might give them like 1 or 2 sentences, but then I'm going to flip it around and I'm now going to start qualifying them. And I might say something like, well, also before I get too into the weeds with this, it matters a lot who you are. And for me, here are my core values. I care a lot about people that are radically authentic, which means there's a capacity in you to not just put on a good show and have a good performance, but to be someone that's congruent underneath that. And that needs to be one of the top things you care about most. So tell me, like, are you that kind of person? Like, does it matter to you how you're perceived, or does it matter to you like how you actually are showing up? This is an example of radical authenticity. Now I'm qualifying that person, but I'm not doing it like this. What do you do? How much money do you make? I'm doing it energetically. And that energetic qualification creates a boundary. And now what you find is if people are going with you, they will start qualifying themselves to you. They will start answering, oh yeah, I do care a lot about that. Or they'll tell you right up front, no, that doesn't matter to me. Well, guess what? That saves you this whole 30 to 60 minute spiel and question charade you are about to go through. Well, your whole point is to help them create greater authenticity. But now you know up front, they don't care about that. And at least they've gotten that clear with you so you don't make an offer to that person. That awkwardness, that tension comes from what they deem as important and what you deem as important being at odds with each other. And so instead of just kind of being yanked around by this dynamic, one of the things that you want to start to look out for is, are they qualifying me or am I qualifying them? And that's how you continue to show up as the leader in the conversation. As the leader, you are qualifying them. You are assessing and you're figuring out, are they the right person, not just for me, but for this coaching experience? I am not for everyone. This experience is not for everyone. And that gives you that confidence so that you don't have to feel like, well, it's you who are being judged. Well, that person gets to sit back with that smug look on their face, totally confident, totally in their own comfort zone. When really the work that you want to do is to challenge them to step beyond that, to step out of that comfort zone. That's what the name of the game is. So always remember, as a coach, the biggest advantage that you have is you have the capacity to see deeper. You are a deeper individual. I'm not asking you to compare yourself to that person. I'm just asking you to remind yourself of how amazing you are, how awesome you are, how good you can see below the surface, things that that person cannot see. So instead of having to prove that you can meet them at that surface and stay there and limit all of your gifts to their tiny little fragile worldview, it's instead like, you know what? I understand that perspective. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm also down here. And let's see if you are the kind of person that can meet me down here. And that puts you back in the driver's seat. That creates more confidence with your sales. And when you do that, by the way, when the spotlight swings over to you, you're able to be in it comfortably and then swing it back to the other person, not in a way where you're like freaked out, but okay, I could be here all day. You want to talk about me? I'm happy to talk about me, but are we here for me? We're here for you. That's what it's about at the end of the day. Leave me a like if you like this. Subscribe if you love it. And leave me a comment as well. Let me know what's been your journey with selling. Is it awkward for you? Are you comfortable? Are you amazing with it? Probably not. You're watching this video for a reason. Tell me about your journey with this. And if you need any additional help, book a call with me by clicking the link below. Take care in the meantime. Adios.